Good afternoon. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I want to do a quick video on our Patreon to discuss kind of the short-term and long-term patterns. And so I'll get right into it and try not to take 20 minutes like I did yesterday. Um, First things first, I guess I'll not beat the Patreon thing to death too much, but I will this first week while we're trying to get new patrons and get people over to this page. So it's kind of a look at what the Patreon page looks like, at least what I see. So far, I've only got one post, but our posts will be on here daily. So we have different tiers that you can subscribe to, and basically got a bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze, I think, is $3 a month. Silver is $10 a month. Gold is $20 a month. I may add a tier in there at some point, but we'll see where this goes right now. So we have picked up 7 patrons so far. So thank you to those of you who have quickly made the change over here, and I'll start putting together a graphic that as it gets going to list the patrons. But so far we've got Joseph Baston, Julie McLean, Sue Scott, Morgan Carpenter. We've got Mr. McCurdy in here, the Nature Man, and we've got Caitlin Humes and Amanda Reed. So thank you to the 7 of you who have already joined in. Thank you to those of you who support us through the madcoweather.com site. Hopefully everybody will kind of start to migrate over to this. It'll make it easier for me, but if you don't join through the Patreon, don't worry. I will find a way, if I have to email links to you in order to allow you to see the content, I'll do so. I'm still learning how Patreon functions. So I'll make sure that everybody that financially contributes to this page has access to this. Right now, the first 7 days, everybody will have access so you all can see it. So, and I've had a couple of questions I covered in the video yesterday. I just want to make sure that those of you who can't support this financially, can't join the Patreon or can't contribute through the website, I will still be posting forecasts to the social media pages for free. So I'm not taking that away. It'll probably be less detailed than what I'm putting into the Patreons. Occasionally I'll put a video on so you can kind of get a little taste of Patreon in case you want to, you reach a point where you can help out. But I do know that we've got a lot of, people who can't afford to contribute to the page, and that's why I never went strictly to a pay page, and I'm not going to do that. So I'll just give extra to the people who can do financially, but I will still be posting the 7-day forecast to the social media, and I will still be doing severe and extreme weather coverage, whether it's extreme heat, extreme cold, snowstorms, severe thunderstorms, what have you. I will still provide that stuff for free. I'm not going to take that stuff away. This is and it was designed as an information page. It just kind of turned into a full-time job as we went from expecting a couple hundred followers to having over 13,000. So that's a good problem to have. And but at any rate, I'm already starting to ramble. So thank you to the 7 of you who have already become patrons. Thank you to those of you who contribute through the website. And thank you for all of you for even making this page anything that I could even consider monetizing. So with that said, let's move on. We're taking a look at radar right now, regional radar, and we can kind of see the clouds are finally starting to peel out of here. We had just mist just hanging around all morning, making just enough to make the morning kind of lousy. Cloud cover is thinning out now, and just getting a little afternoon cumulus pop-ups. But Madison County's sitting right in here, so we're starting to see a little bit of sunshine out there, and hopefully our afternoon will get better. This is the first of 2 waves of cold fronts that'll come through, and we're kind of keeping the soupy air around. I'll deal with the humidity here in a minute, but that is going to back down for a few days there beginning late Thursday. Taking a little wider national view, again, you can see the dry air kind of trying to sink itself in here right now. There's a little bit of reinforcement up here to the north that's kind of going to wrap around the periphery of this ridge of high pressure that's sitting out here over the western U.S. It's keeping the core of the hot air out to the west, and you can kind of see the flow up and over it. And that's so far most of the storm activity is actually happening on the periphery of a southeast ridge, where it's getting a little bit of moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico. So this ridge out here in the west really isn't producing a lot of precipitation, and we expect that to kind of be our pattern over the next few days. A couple of tiny chances for rain. Something could pop up this afternoon. There may be a tiny chance for something Thursday night, but that's pretty sketchy as this front up here kind of backdoors in. So with that said, let's take a look here at pivotal weather and look at this as the dew point temperature. It kind of tells you what temperature the air becomes fully saturated. So the higher this is, of course, the more miserable the air is. We've still got dew points in the mid 60s. At least it's not the 70s like what's down in southern Indiana and southwestern Ohio. But it is still pretty soupy air, and that's kind of wanting to cling to us here for. You can kind of see where the boundary is. I started to point at my screen. You can't see that. So you can kind of see where the boundary just is hanging around real close to Madison County. And then we finally, as we get into early Thursday, we get a little bit of a reprieve as dew points drop to the upper 50s to around 60. And then as that front begins to drop in from the northeast Thursday evening, then that humidity really just gets out of here. And by Friday morning, we've got dew points in the mid 50s and probably low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. So more pleasant air is coming. That drier air and cooler air will hang around for a few days, probably well into the weekend until we hit Sunday or so, and then the humidity will begin to return and the 80s will begin to approach us again. So we're going to take a look here just at real quick at the GEFS model, just kind of the upper level pattern. It kind of helps give us an idea of what's going on down the road. And we're going to look a little longer down the road here. And you can kind of see the ridge of high pressure out here. What's out to the east, it finally gives way and allows this trough to drop in. Kind of kind of a backdoor trough. Usually we see them sweep in from the northwest to the southeast. Instead, everything's kind of coming up and over the central U.S. ridge and then dropping down the east side. So you can see there's a trough out here off the west coast, and things are just kind of going up and over and dropping down the east side. The core of the heat will remain out here over the plains, where they need a break out there. They've not gotten enough rain, and it's been hot for a long time. And unfortunately, that trend's really kind of going to continue for them. And we kind of roll this forward. This is Friday. Again, we can see where that trough kind of swoops in, and we got air flowing down from the north, from Canada. So it's going to be cooler, drier air. Probably highs in the on Friday, maybe only the mid 70s. And Saturday, upper 70s to around 80s. Sunday again, probably around 80, maybe the lower 80s. The humidity again will begin to move back in by Sunday. And we just take a look going forward into, this is by Sunday. Again, we're seeing the starting to get on in the northwest flow. We're looking at this 588 line right here. That's kind of usually where you look somewhere around there for 90 degrees. That'll be getting into, kind of getting close to Indiana. But we're still under the influence of this flow from the northwest. And kind of this ridge that's hanging out in the eastern U.S., or trough hanging out in the eastern U.S. And then you can kind of see what happens. The trough just kind of reinforces itself. The core of the ridge, continues to hang back here, maybe even retrogrades a little bit. And we get another dip in here early next week. And, that'll come behind a storm system that will be Sunday into Monday. How much rain we get out of that's still kind of questionable. With the flow, when we get our best precipitation, widespread precipitation, it usually isn't on a northwest flow. The northwest flow is usually where we're getting these isolated super soakers. So we'll just have to see how Sunday looks, Sunday into Monday, whether it's going to be a really wet one or whether it's just going to be, kind of patchy, isolated stuff. So at any rate, Then we progress out. The GEFS, actually, the 12Z was in the process of loading. It continues to hang this trough out in the eastern U.S. Beyond that, what I think we're going to have to watch is for this ridge out here to the west to migrate back east, and us to make a run late next week into next weekend, maybe back into the mid 80s. One, keep in mind that this time of year, like right now, our average high here in Anderson is 83, and it's been pretty stable the first half of the month. Beginning the second half of the month, we'll lose 2 degrees off of our high. So anything above 83 degrees now is warmer than average. So when we see a lot of anomalies that say make it look like it's going to be real hot, it's probably only going to be like 85, 86, 87, which is hot enough if you got high humidity. I'm still not seeing any signs of 90 degrees returning. Doesn't mean it won't. We're still got plenty of summer, and we all know that we can see 90 degrees into early October. So not writing it off yet, but there's no sign of that just yet. But summer warmth will return for those who love that and aren't ready for the 70-degree weather, 75-degree weather yet. So that's just kind of a quick look. And I'll start to do more of these videos again, of course, on the Patreon. So with all that said, again, make sure you go and visit our Patreon page. I'll post the link again with the forecast and with this video. And again, thank you to all of you who have supported this page over the last couple of years. All of you, even you can't support us financially, you still support us by trusting us, trusting me with your weather. So, again, thank you all very much. Come on over to the Patreon if you want some extra stuff. Hopefully I'll be hearing from Aaron Higgins at Graphics Now here in the next day or two with an open merchandise page through his website as well. And so you can get something, you can buy you some shirts, hats, hoodies, things like that, where you get something for your money. So with all that said, this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you at the next video.